Hey, you.
Call it a midlife situation.
Have you heard of limoncello? This is a fabulous lemon liqueur made in Italy. And this one's made in Italy, but I think other countries make it as well. But it's very sweet. It's nice sipping, very flavorful. Well, it's one of Chuck's favorite things. And I like to use it to cook with, which is not a good combination for that. However, if you want to make yourself some cello, and I say cello because you can do it with any type of citrus fruit. You can do it with oranges, you can do it with lemons, you can do it with limes, whatever you have available. What I have is Yuja or Yuzu, which is a citrus fruit typical in Japan and in Korea. It's very much like a mandarin, a lemon, a lime. I think it had a little grapefruit kind of notes in it as well. So very, very flavorful. They use this in Korea to make teas and all kinds of other fun stuff. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to make Yujacello because Yujacello. Step 1, get some Yuja or whatever citrus you're deciding to use. For us, it's going to be Yuja. We're going to do a jar about this size, which is a quart jar. So this is going to take about 7 to 10, depending upon what you're doing. And then you're going to peel. So you really only want this little outside edge. You don't want to get any of the white pith that's inside of the peel because it has a very bitter taste that it'll bring over into your alcohol, and that is a bad idea. So I'm going to peel, but that's boring. Y'all don't want to see that. So as you can see right here, I have a bowl full of the skin from our limoncello. So one thing you should note about your citrus fruits, the scent coming from this, the oils coming from this, is super, super intense, super, super fragrant. So if you're doing something like we did when we made our Hallabong orange brandy, you don't need a lot of the orange peel. In this case, this is all about using the stuff that's in this peel. We're going to put it into our jar, and then we're going to add alcohol into it so that we can make an actually pretty intense alcohol. So we need a jar. We got that here. We've got our peel. And then we're going to need some neutral spirits. In this case, we have some of our water kimchi shine, or actually not really water kimchi shine. We just made sugar shine out of things that you would make water kimchi with. But there's our sugar shine. And so we're going to use sugar shine, and we're going to use this, and we're going to put them into the jar. Just so y'all know, after you finish peeling all that citrus, from peeling the peels, your hands are going to smell very fragrant. They're going to be whatever citrus you've done, they're going to smell like that. Now, we don't just use the peels from that. I'm actually making a Yuja pound cake as well. So we're going to take the insides of the Yuja, squeeze out all the juice, and take some peel that we had extra and use that for that. But that's totally separate. So, Yuja peel in the jar. Now we're going to add our neutral spirit. You basically need just enough of it to cover what you've got in here. Put a lid on. All right, so we're going to set this in a room temperature area. So probably for us, we're just going to stick it in the kitchen, and it'll start to extract the oils and the flavors from the peel. And it takes about a week to a month. My recommendation would be try it in a week, see what you think. It's also going to start pulling stuff completely out of those peels. So some of them could be completely white by the time they're done. You don't know, but it should give your alcohol a lovely color, and it should actually give a lot of fragrance and flavor to it. So we will see you in about a week.
All right, it's been a week since we got our jar here. We found a little extra shine to top it up with, so we got a full jar.
And we shook that a couple times before we put it away and didn't bother it for a week, basically. And yeah. I just shook it up just now. So you see it's got a lovely color to it. So now we need to find out how is our taste.
Now our sugar shine that we put in here was about 70 proof because we'd already proofed it down to mix with something else. The higher your proof is that you put in there, the faster it's going to break stuff down because, I mean, obviously high proof alcohol is a great solvent. It breaks things down. So let's see what we got. Ooh. That is
Yuja.
That's Yuja all the way through.
Oh, I'm not tasting that.
That's tart. It's not sour. It's just very tart. It's like all the lemon without any of the sweet that you would get.
Let's drain our peel out and put it in this jar because we know it's going in there. And then
Yep.
let's make a simple syrup.
That's 50% water, 50% sugar, and we'll be back. So as we get ready for our simple syrup here.
We have about a half cup of water boiling right now, and I'm going to add a half cup of sugar when it gets a little warmer.
So you can see that some of these peels, there's the original color. That's what this looks like now.
So if we had kept it maybe a little bit longer, it would have possibly gone to complete white.
Or
Whereas it would have just pulled all of that color and all of that out of there. As it is right now, it may actually still have just a little bit more stuff in it.
And for those that have never made wine, don't worry, simple syrup is not actually all that scary. You just heat some water up, you put in an equal part of sugar, you stir it till it dissolves, and you cool it to room temperature. That's it. You just want to make sure all the sugar dissolves into the water, and then you're ready. Once it cools down, you're ready to mix. We've made simple syrup.
Yes.
We made about a...
3/4 cup.
How did we get a half cup of water and a half cup of sugar and wind up with 3/4 cup of magic?
Because
Magnets.
the sugar melts into the water and increases the volume of the water.
Yes, but...
Do I need to science that for you?
Yes, but a half cup and a half cup should be closer to a cup. I didn't think the granulation of sugar would have that much empty space in it.
But that's
Oh well.
what we got. It's closer to 2/3 than 3/4, but...
All right, well.
Are we pouring it all in?
Pour it in there. YOLO.
I do love the beautiful color it got.
It is a nice color.
Virgin
Alright.
taste test.
Let's see what Yuja taste test, well, technically number 2 tastes like.
With sweetness, though.
That's just tart enough to be flavorful, but the sweet cuts it on the back end. There's a slight hint of burn.
I think just a tad bit of water would make it perfect. Because limoncello doesn't have a burn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that all depends on your...
So I'd like it to be closer to like a limoncello style, which means no burn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just added... The math on this is going to be horrible. We just added 2/3 of a cup to about 600 milliliters of 70 proof flavored alcohol. Anybody know what the math on that is?
Anybody math that for me? Here, we're going to make this easier. We're going to add a 1/3 cup of water.
Okay. I have no idea what the proof's going to be after this. We're somewhere in the probably above 40 proof, but below 60. But it's definitely got that limoncello-ish
Mouthfeel?
kind of sweet, tart, tangy
Just call
feel
me
to it.
sweetheart.
That's limoncello with a twist.
Whew, that works.
It could be a little bit sweeter. We could have went a little more simple syrup.
Do you want it sweeter?
No, I'm good with it like that.
I think you like it like that. All right, so I think we're going to put it back in our other jar because I think we don't have enough to not put it back in the other jar.
Yeah, probably not.
And I think we're going to let it sit.
All right, so there we have it, ladies and germs. A quart jar of Yujacello.
Homemade. So what my thought process on this is, because this literally was a week ago that we made it, is to let this sit for another week, maybe 2, and see how those flavors meld together.
Let the simple syrup and the Yuja oil extract merge a little bit. Probably a good flavor, but even as it is right now,
Even as it is, we could drink it and we're happy.
chill it a little bit. You know, get you a little sipping glass and...
Or you could do it the way they do it, like the Japanese restaurants when they make Yuja sake, Yuzu sake. Remember I have that? Remember she puts it in a little thing and it sits in the jar.
Oh
and
yeah,
it
she
has
puts it in
glass.
that little carafe that sits
Yeah.
on ice. Yeah.
The carafe sits in ice, and so it cools as you sit there, and then you can pour a little bit. So that's kind of nice.
yeah.
Or you can drink it a little over
And
ice.
the redneck equivalent of that is stick this in a bucket of ice. But yeah.
So,
That's
Yujacello.
stuff.
Don't be alarmed if you see us make a orangecello, tangercello, limecello, citroncello if we can find some citrons, limoncello,
Halacello.
halabong orangecello. Yeah, we might go a little cello crazy.
So
Nothing new about that. We're already crazy.
yeah, well, that's why we run out of sugar shine so fast as we've.
Yeah, we're mashing in another sugar shine today.
Because some of these infusions, they're good.
But you'll be seeing those in a future video because we have a tasting coming up. So we have some of our friends coming over in a few weeks for a tasting. So we're gearing up with different flavors and getting stuff ready.
We'll try to have that video ready for around Lunar New Year, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully. But like, subscribe,
Do the internet stuff.
do the internet stuff. Keep on shining.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
I've got places, baby.